Okay, it's recording, so let's act civil and be quiet and listen, okay? Okay, find the quotient. It says simplify your answer. So you would do keep, change, and then flip, which changes this one into its reciprocal. Okay? Just because some of our friends are loving the cross simplifying, I'm going to cross simplify because you can cross simplify in this one. The common factor for 12 is what? We got 12 and 12 right here. What do they share? 12, yeah. So I'm going to cross this out. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 12 divided by 12 is 1. These ones share something too. We have a 3 and a 6. 3. Nice. Okay. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now I can just go across. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Look, I just got excited and solved it for you. There you go. All right. Yep, you got one. All right, find the difference. The only thing that you have to do with these is set them up by stacking them on top of one another and lining up the decimal. And then notice how I added a 0 at the end of the 42 and 1/10. It just makes it easier and flow better. Bring your decimal down and you're good to go. Okay, subtract, keep, change, opposite. I'll write that right here. And then you just follow the song. Same signs, add them up, opposite, subtract. Keep the sign of the larger one. Then you'll be exact. For number 4, what's the absolute value? Another way of figuring out absolute value is just figuring out how many spaces is it away from 0 and knowing that it can never be a negative amount. Find the product. You should have a fraction answer. So, and before we do that, we're going to draw the triangle guy because he's for multiplying and dividing integers, and I noticed that these have negatives, so that will help us figure out if it's a negative or a positive. And then I am going to write that 9/1 just to make it easier for us to visualize. And there you go. I have you set up for success right there. All right, we're going to go over to 10. Keep, change, flip it to its reciprocal. Now you can decide how you're simplifying this. If you want to go with that cross multiplication, the 8 and the 2 do share something, so you could simplify right there. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Find the sum. Same signs, add them up, opposite, subtract. Keep the sign of the larger one, then you'll be exact. It's going to be a positive answer. Dylan has 3 cats, and he has 6 dogs. What is the ratio of his? And I just wrote the ratio, but you need to write it in simplest form. And so if you were doing it in simplest form, if you haven't had my class yet today, you'll get that. But all we need to do is simplify it by coming up with a common factor and using the scale factor to simplify. We're not doing it. Oh yes, what's the question?
So on number 10.
I'm back to number 10.
So since it's up there on the benchmark fraction, can we do it by decimal and put the answer as a decimal? Or do we have to put the answer as a fraction?
You have it set up like this, 5/8 times 2/1, and your answer is going to be a benchmark fraction?
Yeah, because I did 5/8, so 5/8 is 6. 625.
And then you're going to divide it by 0.5?
Yeah.
You can do that. That would be more challenging in my opinion, but if you like decimals, go for it. Because some people just favor it that way, and that's okay. All right. This one is the product, and I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to need the triangle guy because I can see that one of them has a negative. Don't forget that. That seems to be something that I've noticed in years past. They do all the work, they get the answer right, and then they forget that the 37 hundredths is a negative, and then they end up getting it wrong. I'm just going to write this out right underneath here. A 7 and a 3 and a decimal. And we're going to know it's a negative. So the answer is going to be what? We have a positive and a negative. So your answer is negative. Maybe write it off to the side. And then you just have to solve this problem right here. And make sure you make it a negative answer. All right. At a bake sale, the students earned $48.75. There were 3 students. How much did each student earn? If we have the total and it's an equal amount, what are we doing, guys? Dividing because we have the total. If we didn't have the total, we'd be multiplying, but we have it. And so it's a dividing problem. There's only a decimal in the inside, so you can just pull it up. Okay, change this to a mixed number. If you're in my intervention class and you did the boom cards this week in the folder, this should be easy. Take the 12, put it inside the division house, divide by the 5. That gets you your whole number. Your denominator stays the same, so it's going to be a 5, and whatever your remainder is, if you have one, that's the number that goes above. All right, find the sum. Same signs, add them up. Same signs, add them up, yep. Opposite, subtract. Keep the sign of the larger one. Then you'll be exact. All right, convert 1200ths to a percent and a simplified fraction. We learned that when you have a decimal to turn it into a percent, you take the decimal and you move it over twice. And so that would make this 12%. With fractions, we learned you put it over whatever place value that is. That's the 100, so I'm going to put it over 100. But what you have to do now is you have to simplify. So you come up with a common factor, the greatest common factor for 12 and 100. If I were you, I would write all the factors of 100 and put them in my journal so I don't have to do this all year long. But we got 1 and 12, 2 and 50, 3 and 4. I think that's, 6 and 2. Why did I put 2 and 50? 6 and 2. And that's all we got for 12. And so then figure out the 100s, put it in your journal so you don't have to rewrite it all year long. And then whichever one is the greatest one is which one you would divide by. Okay, Lane had 6 goldfish and 2 betta fish. Write the ratio in simplest form. So there's the ratio. You have to simplify it. If you haven't had class yet today, then that would sound crazy, but if you have had it, it won't. Will this product increase or decrease? Well, if you multiply any number, this one is 10, by something greater than 1, it's going to increase. If you multiply it by something less than 1, it's going to decrease. This right here is a regular fraction, meaning it's less than 1. 3/4 is less than 1. 4/4 would be 1. Find the difference. Keep, change, opposite. That's all I'm going to do for that one. I'm gradual releasing here. Okay, order these in ascending order. When you ascend, you go up. So you go from you go from least to greatest. Your smallest one would be your negative that's furthest away from 0. And I'll even finish you off with your greatest. Find the difference. Keep, change, opposite.
That's a negative 12.
Is it?
Yeah, it's negative 12.
No, it is a negative 12. Then erase all that. This one is your smallest. And this one is your greatest. All right. Aubrey is conducting a science experiment where she has to mix 8 and 25 ounces of vinegar and 4 and 30 ounces of lemon juice. How many ounces does she have all together? What are we doing? Adding. And so all we have to do is stack them up, make sure our decimals are lined up. All right, convert 15% to a decimal and a simplified fraction. Okay, well, we learned that you take away the percent, you move the decimal over twice, and then I'm going to let you figure out the fraction all by yourself. All right, that's it for the homework video.